Eliza Monroe Hay, the eldest child and eldest daughter of James and Elizabeth Monroe, was buried in Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris. She died there while in France, and her remains had been there until this year, when an effort to bring her remains back and inter them in Hollywood Cemetery with the rest of her immediate family was undertaken. And we will be recognizing here at the James Monroe Museum some of the folks within this community and elsewhere that had something to do with that effort, to just give an acknowledgement to their support while also paying respects, if you will, to Eliza Monroe Hay. It is something that's ironically the same situation for all the rest of her family members. James Monroe died in New York in 1831 at his other daughter's home, and he was interred there for a number of years until he was brought back to Virginia in 1858. His burial in the new, at that time, Hollywood Cemetery was quite a big spectacle. And then later, his daughter Mariah, his wife Elizabeth, who had been interred elsewhere, they were transferred to Hollywood, and so now it's completed with Eliza. There was another child, James Spencer Monroe, who died as an infant, and his remains, the whereabouts of those is not definitely established. I suppose if they ever are discovered, and there is some interest in finding those remains, he too might make his way back to be with the family at Hollywood Cemetery.
I share Scott's enthusiasm, not only because we are honoring Eliza in the town where she spent a good part of her early childhood, but also it is the conclusion to close to 7 years work to make this come about. Père Lachaise, which is the prestigious cemetery where Eliza was interred since 1840. It is very exacting about the requirements for disinterring remains, and that is part of the reason that it took so long, because there was a lot of questions about who had the actual legal right to make the decision. Eliza died in Paris, but the gravesite and the funeral itself was paid for by Daniel Brent, who had known James Monroe in his early career years. He had served in the Monroe administration and was a friend of the family, but at that point he was the American consul in Paris. So it is he and his descendants who had the legal right, the possession of the gravesite, and yet we also had to research and identify not only his descendants and gain their permission, but also the descendants of Eliza Monroe Hay and gain their permission. And it had to be professionally translated, it had to be rechecked by professional genealogists, and in the form that the Père Lachaise staff and the city of Paris, which runs that cemetery, required. It was a daunting task. While the main event will be the reinterment ceremony in Hollywood, yet Eliza, James Monroe, and the entire James Monroe family and museum universe is really centered here in Fredericksburg. In many ways, Fredericksburg and the people from Fredericksburg have served as part of the heart of the emotional connection and the patriotic attachment to this project. So it is only right for us to host a reception to bring attention to Eliza's connections with this wonderful town, and also to thank the people who have supported and followed this effort for 7-8 years?
Yeah. We've used the term over and over, paying respects, and really we're doing it in multiple ways. Paying respects to Eliza, the deceased. It's paying respects to her legacy and the memory of her family and the life experience she had and the circumstances which led her first to France and then ultimately now back to her native country. It's also paying respects, as Catherine indicated, to those many different groups, particularly here but not exclusively here, that had something to do with this. The James Monroe Memorial Foundation, which has a long association with this museum, was originally the operators of this museum and the organization that gave it to the Commonwealth. James Monroe Memorial Foundation has been very involved with this, has helped financially support the effort to complete this project. The Found and Sons Funeral Home here in Fredericksburg have graciously provided services necessary for the storage and transport of Eliza's remains. Historic Fredericksburg Foundation has served as a fiscal agent for it. Catherine mentioned Barbara Vorndick, who had been very focused and diligent on this, taking up really the mantle that Catherine herself initially assumed in really trying to first locate Eliza's grave in Paris, clean it, keep it from being relegated to putting her remains in an ossuary and reselling the plot. That effort alone was crucial to ensuring that there would be something to do later to help Eliza get home. If she had been continually just ignored and abandoned there in Fredericksburg, we'd never know what was the fate of her remains, and the entire thing would have fallen apart. Another local person deeply involved is Sue Henderson, who's known for many local projects in this area, also is a member of the Board of Regents of the James Monroe Museum. So it is really a team effort and an institutional effort, and very passionate and dedicated individuals who have made this happen. And frankly, I was skeptical several years ago that this could work. I thought that there were so many barriers, so many boundaries, and I am impressed. I am humbled by the initiative and the tenacity that's been shown in pulling this off. And if I was wearing a hat, it would be off to them.